All right, yeah. Back at it. You know, again, another human experiment, David Attenborough, human's behavior. I was in the gym and I was on a mat. 2 stories, actually, 3 stories. I was on a mat stretching, just got to the gym. As I get into the gym, there's a guy in there that he's an acquaintance. Like he used to go to this class I used to do, but I stopped going to the class. He stopped coming and I used to see him around and I would have talks with him. But the last time I had a talk with him, it just felt off. Like, in fact, the last maybe 2 or 3 times, it just kind of felt off. One of those times in between, I saw him and his girlfriend walking his dog past where I live as well, which I thought was kind of strange coincidence. But anyway, I just felt after the conversation, I just felt a bit weird. I just felt like either he was trying to get something from the conversation, or it just didn't feel natural, trying to get validation or something. It just didn't feel natural. So after that point, I just said to myself, you know what? I don't really want to be having a conversation with this person anymore. So I see him, I saw him in a park close to where I think he lives close by as well. And he shouted out and I just nodded him and just like continued doing what I was doing. And so I see him in the gym and he does what he's doing on his mat. After I walked in and seen him, I just walked and sat down and made up my mat. And he just got up and he just walking up and down, stretching, he's walking past where I was sat, you know, really trying to get my attention, really like make movement of his body or whatnot. And so I just looked at him and said, oh, hey, what's up? And I just, again, gone back to what I was doing. And then he kind of, he felt like he had got what he wanted and then he left. Now, I could have just like ignored him and like just really be in myself. I think when I go to the gym or when we were doing stuff, we really have to dial into ourselves. And a part of this healing journey is coming back into our own bodies. Like the trauma gets caught up in our body. Like we've been traumatized so much. So physical exercise really helps with a lot of what we've gone through to help us sort of get over what we've gone through. So it's like a real, like our time, you know, our moment. But why I said that story is I want to highlight the fact that there's something in us that makes something in them freak out. Now, before he did this movement, this guy, I did kind of think, oh, there's something about him that's a bit off, but I wasn't quite sure. And the gut is like a second brain. Like if you're looking after your gut and you're not like, you know, eating too many processed food, not drinking too much alcohol, not smoking too much, you start kind of like, you start picking up more on little subtle, like people communicating with people with eyes and doing certain things. But it really made me think, because being who we are on this journey and having to go through all the stuff we go through, we really have to practice something, which I actually saw this on a video talking about how to cold approach or chat up women. And the guy was talking about inner game. And I think we can use that in this instant as well. And basically when he talked about inner game, he was just mainly talking about confidence. Now I listed certain things where I've talked about, where I want to talk about where we've got to practice this inner game. And they're all kind of like permutations or similar to the same thing of what this guy was talking about, which is basically if you want to approach a woman that you don't know, you have to approach her with confidence. You have to approach her not being too attached to the outcome of that interaction. Like if it goes well, great. If it doesn't, it's fine. Now with these people, it's kind of like a bit of indifference as well, but it's, I think, a better terminology is in a game. I think we really need to practice this, because when you get this, I start listing out the things that I'm talking about, it really does apply to our state of mind and how we have to really be in touch with ourselves and not allow or give away whatever it is we have, and not allow people to trick us into giving up what we have, because it's like literally people trying to steal your energy. And you know, it's just, even just now as I came in from walking my dog, as I'm walking through, and there's people like doing charity work, and the woman sees me and she runs over to me. And it's not like I'm dressed like I'm a millionaire or have so much money to donate to a charity, but there's just some pull that they can't help themselves. It's like they want to take it from us. It's interesting. I might have to start wearing a secret camera. You will see the kind of interactions that I have on a day-to-day basis with people. It's almost like I'm in some kind of a weird universe, some sort of parallel universe. But a lot of this stuff is spiritual, so people that are doing it, I don't think they realize what they're doing. So I got a list here of things where we got to practice this inner game. So the first one is confidence. So in terms of increasing confidence, I always look at it as you have a goal and you work towards that goal. So whenever you have a plan of doing something and you take action towards it, that will help your confidence. Like, you know, like if you at a job, a certain task that you haven't done before, or you've been trained but you haven't got a lot of practice in it, but you keep doing it and you keep getting closer to getting it right and you feel good about it, that's how you increase confidence. If we're talking about talking to people, your social interactions, the more you do it, the more confident you get and you become more relaxed. It becomes more natural. It's not going to be perfect at first, but the more practice you get at it, the better you become, the more confident you become. So we need to practice our confidence when we're dealing with these characters. Secondly, I got Godfidence. Now, I took Godfidence from a guy's channel. I think the guy's channel is called Elect of God. Search it. And he talks about this. And I think we all have like, when you have that belief, you know, in football, they call it, in soccer or football in the UK, we say, if you go to a stadium and it's your home fans there, so you got more of the fans, it gives them an extra boost. If you believe in God and you put on the armor of God and you go out there, it gives you that something extra. That's what I would call Godfidence. That's like the 12th man of the 11 players, and you got an extra from the fans. You have like a more vigor. Yeah, you have more, like, so your spirit is stronger, so you have to stay tapped in, pray, meditate to source or universe if you're not into that spiritual thing. But you really have to have a belief that, because I do truly believe that we are protected. We are protected. Now, I've got here number 3, radical acceptance. And when I'm talking about radical acceptance, what I'm talking about is it seems like there's more of them than us. So there are times when you can feel downtrodden. You can feel, you know, like, why does this keep happening? Like, it's always, it feels like you against the world, like you're carrying your cross, like literally, like we have to really accept that we can't change these people. We can't help them. We have to stop enabling them. We have to not give them our validation. We have to be secure. Like, if there's like 500, like you're in a room and 15 people are talking about you and going against you, you have to literally just take deep breaths, chill out, be like, okay, I know what this is. Yeah. Or people are giving you dirty looks on the street that don't know you, like in your community, like the smear campaign is rife. You have to be like, I have to expect this and not let them steal my peace, because what they only looking at it as that their level of 1, comprehension, 2, you know, the flying monkeys has done the ringer on them. 3, there's no point trying to change people's minds anymore. You have to just accept like things are just as they are. Let them play out. Let them play out. It's like, this stuff takes time. I'm not gonna act like it don't take time. It takes a lot of time. But and the same thing happened with the gym. Like 2 things. Like one other thing was like, every time I leave, like there's different areas in the gym. If I'm working on a mat, and the mat will have all my sweat on the mat, and I go to the lockers, which is like 2 minutes away, I come back where I'm working out, the mat's gone. So someone is there. They just, they might be doing it to annoy me, and there's mats on the rail that they could take off, but my mat just goes. And it's like, I went back, I'm like, oh, it's gone. I'm like, oh, is that the mat that was there? I said to the person who was in my position, I'm like, oh, I just came back to clean it, but if you want to use it, it's up to you, like that, with all my sweat. He's like, oh, I'm too much in my workout. But it's like, they know what they're doing. It's like, they want you to give them attention. They want your attention, and they want to switch places with us. Like, they want to take our peace from us. So if you're feeling upbeat and you go to your gym, or you go to a class, or you go in public, a shared space, stay upbeat, stay happy, stay positive. Don't allow these characters to steal your joy. It's a lot of characters can't be peaceful, man. They can't like experience, like make their own energy. Like even today, I was just at home, I was doing some work, I started playing some music, you know, I was feeling in my element, and I got a call, I had to go and meet someone. I was in my element. I didn't need anything of that, having a cup of tea, just chilling. Like a lot of these characters, they can't just like, just chill. They need to find someone to bully, to triangulate, to blame shift, shame dump. Just like they need to devalue people, or they need to get in your way, or take you out of your mood. Proper, like, you have to just accept it. Like, this is the world that we live in, man. Like, we're going through the end times. People want to fight with you, mock you, gang stalk you, expose you. I found this weird like sticker outside my house. Yeah, it's just like, just accept it. I got a few more here. I'm just gonna say them, but I have to touch on this topic again. So many things happen. Self-belief. I'll put this in with self-worth as well. Now, when I talk about self-belief and self-worth, in my situation, my smear campaign, whatever it is, I haven't actually seen or heard. Well, I have, like, some people laugh at me that I see, and they say certain things, but I haven't actually seen anything online which has been directly. But I went through like 3.5 narcissistic cycles with people, and all those 3s ended up with me being discarded and it looking quite bad at what I did, the reactive abuse. So the kind of like reputational damage was there. So a lot of the time when I see people, I try not to jump to conclusions and say, oh, it's this. I try to just give people the benefit of the doubt. But a lot of the time, those bad looks and bad stares, sometimes it's a smear campaign. Sometimes it's a spiritual thing where they can pick up on the spiritual side, like the vibe, the energies. Like, you don't even have to, they don't have to know you, but they just know that we're on the opposite teams. So the self-worth thing is like, a lot of these characters want to break us down. They want us to feel like we're worthless, that we're a piece of dirt on their shoe. But the funny thing is, just imagine like this guy pulls up in a Lamborghini or like a McLaren Roadster top-down convertible with like a supermodel, a really attractive lady in the passenger side. And you pull up in a Honda Accord. Yeah, maybe you got a girlfriend and she's modest looking and she's in there, but you're at peace. you are winning, bro. Like, or girl or sis. These people, they don't have peace. They're not winning. Even in that big materialistic car with all the money in the world, they can't sit still, man. They're not at peace. Yeah. It's like I know I got a lot of gym stories, but a lot of it, the gym is like, it's just human behavior. It's like, they just don't know how to become, they're not human. We're not human people, like animals. It's like, I'm using a machine and there's a guy and he sits on a bench right next to the machine I'm using. And he's like, oh, are you still using it? I'm like, yeah. Well, he obviously sees I'm like maybe on a break or I'm doing a superset. So I'm just doing something, dumbbells, while I come off doing my shoulder. And I told him there was like 2 similar machines. He said one was an incline press and one was like a shoulder press, but they're very similar. Very, very similar. And I said, and you could do I was on the incline press, but you could use the shoulder press in a way that it works. I think the incline does like here and a bit of chest. But anyway, I was like, oh, maybe use that one. And he just, oh, that's incline. So he went and he did the dumbbells, what he was doing. Then he ran off and he did pull-ups. Then he ran back and did something. And then he ran over to somewhere else and did something. Now, I'm not saying all people that can't sit still suffer from this mental illness or pathology. But the way, for me, is something like this area of their face and like this kind of like, when he corrected me, I looked and he was right. Like the kind of like sadistic kind of smile and smirk, like they get happy, like, oh, I just won up to you. And it's like, really? Like, I was like, yo, you know, we could share this one. He's like, oh, no, you do what you're doing. So he interrupted me. So I went back to what I was doing. But for that second, we were having this back and forth. Almost like he wanted to like alpha me or make me fold, or so I was just like, no, mate, I'm using it, but if you want, we can share it. Like, it's not a big deal, like whatever. It's just like the characters in there, man. It's like, seriously. And I was just looking at, there's a guy that goes to this same gym who's like, he's a celebrity. So when he comes in today, some girls were looking at him and he wasn't paying them any mind. And there was even some people that were trying to out for him, like walk in this like really small, and he was always giving them the way. And I was like, you know what, this guy, like he's got the self-worth, self-belief, super chill. People want his attention, he's not giving it to them. They want him to validate them. He's like, nah. He's coming there to work out. Then he goes, gets in his sports car and he goes home. He's got nothing to prove to nobody. We can take from that guy. Yeah, they want our reaction. These people, we have to like starve them of this supply, this narcissistic supply. These psychopaths. He was just chilling. Yeah, when I'm in there doing my thing, I've got like a holy t-shirt on. My vest is like out of shape because it's so old, the cotton. I'm just in there working out. I'm not in there to do nothing. Like I'm in there like really like breathing through the muscle, like mind muscle connection. But it's literally, people are in there looking at people. People are in there, you know, girls are in there bending over their bum like camel toe. Guys in there looking at other guys. They're walking in your way, trying to bump into you, trying to out-alpha you, trying to play games. It's just like, seriously. Like I was just walking past another guy another day on the street, and I walked past him one day and he was like, oh, really, really nice dog. So I recognized him. So as I'm walking out there in my neighborhood, I see the guy. So I'm looking at him to say hello to him. And he just literally doesn't, he kind of just like looks away, and at the last minute, he just puts his head up. And it's like, again, energetically devaluing me. And it's like, he was the one that made the initial, like, tried to build rapport with me. And then now that I'm now giving in to him, he's now removed it. So this is always how these characters behave. It's like one-upmanship. It's like, I need to put you down to feel better. And also, they can't see, if they can't see us, they literally, it's because they can't see themselves. Like how people treat you is how people treat themselves. Like hurt people hurt people. So there's always this kind of relationship with these people. So I'll just keep advising you of like, keep your energy and your vibes to yourself, man. Just like, seriously, you literally were outnumbered. We're in the end times. There's more. A lot of people are having children. They're not bringing up the children the right way. There's a lot of people who are not doing the shadow work. They're not facing their childhood wounds. They are not, you know, a lot of people, they want you to do good, but as long as you don't do as good as them, it's a real like crab in the bucket mentality. It's a very, we're going through a very weird time at the moment, man. Seriously, like peace to all the people, everything going on in the world with in Palestine right now. I send all my well wishes, all my blessings. I pray that the people over there are okay. Also in Ukraine as well. Anyway, where there's conflict in the world, there's a lot of conflicts in a lot of places right now, Africa. But what I want to say is, yeah, we're going through a very tough moment where the empathy and compassion, when it's not there really. So we have to not enable people. We have to keep our stuff to ourselves, man. Like, work on ourselves, yeah. And remember that when you crave something, you crave it and you're attached to it, that causes suffering. So we want to learn detachment. We want to learn discernment. So knowing when to engage, respond, and when to just allow it. And 9 times out of 10 in this modern time, we have to just ignore. Just don't get involved with people with their vibes and their games and their bad energetic stares and death stares, looks. They're devaluing, they're walking in close to you, they're trying to touch you and ignoring you when really they just love everything about you, gang stalking you, exposing you. It's just literally just a lot of just projections.